And we are back with the Vac. Hey-oh, I'm Val, he's Nate, it's another week.
That was good intensity with your start there.
Really, you like that?
Yeah, that was not bad because...
I'm not going to be able to maintain it, it's 40 degrees.
I know. But something I've realised is that we start pretty slow. I think we both finish work. Yeah, in my opinion, we start slow.
I would have thought this would be a good time of the day because 5 o'clock, the brain's still going. You know how they used to say, like, if you're going to go for a run or whatever, do it straight after work. As soon as you sit down, as soon as you start to relax, as soon as you start to do anything, once you enter that normal relaxation period, it's over.
Maybe. I'm not taking your advice for when to go for a run. And what you've heard, I don't know who you've been talking to about when to go for a run. Yeah. Most people, I actually like running in the afternoon. Most people seem to prefer exercising in the morning. Right.
There are benefits. There are weather benefits. It's often cooler in the morning, so you can work up I'm talking not
from personal experience. Yeah.
Just what I've heard from the theys.
Ultimately, it's just whenever you can do it.
Is
it doesn't
perspiration,
actually matter.
Is sweating, like Prince Andrew style, like sweating, is that healthy to sweat? Because I know that, I heard Luff panting earlier. He's puffing because that's his natural biological means of keeping cool, and we can sweat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is it just a cooling thing, or is there benefits in sweating? Are we getting rid of anything bad? What's going on?
Okay. It's
medical benefits.
We're not. Do you know when people say, you go for a run or go in the sauna and sweat out the toxins? That's complete bull. That's BS.
That's bullshit, is it? And we can say that.
Wow. Yeah, you went there. You said that. I said BS, but it is shit of the bull variety.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any benefits then? Maybe not. No.
The cooling, like sweating, the fact humans, I think, are one of the very few animals that sweat. I don't even know
some
if
of us,
chimps,
and it's really
sweat?
strange, but if you get a big dump of adrenaline, perhaps in like the Falklands War or something, it can prevent you, a human being, from sweating even at a nightclub. Isn't that amazing?
Really?
Well, that's what happened to Prince Andrew, allegedly. He said he had an engagement in the Falklands, which caused an adrenaline dump, which meant that for a period of up until recently, he started sweating again. Coincidentally enough. Yeah. Well, no, not really. This is just what he said in that tragedy of a BBC interview where he pretty much, dug himself a big hole.
Yeah, no, I
eighth in line for the throne, mate.
I remember him hearing about him digging himself a big hole. So was he sweating during that interview? Is that the idea? So he was under some...
No. So
I need the full backstory. Yeah.
Well, how do you not know this? It's a pretty big story.
I think I'll know bits of it. I'll know the important bits.
The reporter from the BBC was saying that the person who alleges that she had sex with Prince Andrew, Virginia Giuffre, said that they went to a nightclub in Tramp. They were dancing together. He was sweating profusely. She made a point of saying he sweated a lot.
Oh,
and then he scoffs and says, there is one problem with the sweating because I did up until recently have a medical condition that prevented me from sweating. So
that's
it sounds good, right? It sounds like he'd fucking die on a day like today if you can't actually produce any sweat.
Yeah.
Are you just going to die in the heat? Does he have to remain cool at all times just in case? Because sweating is a biological thing that we're doing to keep cool.
Yeah, and it's actually quite a adapted process that humans have. It's one of the reasons why some people think that humans used to chase down their prey using endurance, because one of the significant biological advantages that we have over things like a dog cannot sweat. That's why they pant so much that we know of. Yes. And we can sweat. It's actually quite an efficient way of cooling your body, sweating.
But we haven't tried everything with the dogs. For example, like we could say, as of today, dogs don't sweat. But if we get them in the cockpit of some fighter pilot thing and get them to experience some enemy fire, perhaps a big adrenaline dump for the dog, maybe they'll start sweating.
Well, maybe that's why they don't sweat. They went through a traumatic experience in the Falklands.
Exactly. It's likely.
They all,
as a species, it's likely that that's exactly what's happened. Yeah.
Deep-seated evolutionary. Oh, okay.
I don't think we need to fact check that one. I think that's pretty good.
That seems logical.
Yeah. I was thinking of a cool idea we could do. I want a vacuous perspective calendar where we can make predictions on things. You know, flying cars, by what date, put it in the calendar. We have this really big
things come along.
Yeah. You'll be like, wasn't this meant to happen by now? You know, so I want to put some predictions in for the future.
Yeah, perfect.
I think we should do some short-term shit, stuff that we could say solve or resolve in the next 12 months, and then your bullshit ones, and then your super bullshit ones, right? So
medium-term sort of 5-year ones, and then
So have you got anything off the top? I thought you might want to do something with Artemis, but that can be a joint one, I think. We want to get Boots on the Moon again, right? Boots on the Moon, that's happening, right? They've booked it in very loosely. They haven't provided any dates, but Boots on the Moon, that's the first one. It's going on the Vacuous Perspective calendar watch. We'll come up with a better name than that. But what's the current estimate? Best guess from NASA?
Give me a second. Okay, a second. The Boots on the Moon is no earlier than 2026 now.
Yeah, so that's a medium-term one. That's one of our medium-term ones. Now, so they're saying 2026. What are you saying? I want Boots.
September 2026 is the earliest now that I'm looking at. That's the update because it was September 2025 and they've pushed it back. So
they have to push it back a whole year when they push it back. So it's always going to be around the September mark. That's good.
Let's say I don't think this is right, but this is, because sometimes I just want it to happen. So I'm going to say December 2026.
December 26? No, we need a date.
18 December.
Okay, December 18, 2026, Boots on the Moon. I mean, that's exciting. Chuck that in the calendar.
Yeah, so every time we say chuck it in the calendar, maybe we can even automate this. Calendar. Can we get some kind of AI that just automates our calendar inputs?
Look, AI is doing some great stuff at the moment. We could go into that, but let's finish some more predictions because we do have to get some more things in the calendar. One thing in the calendar, we can't have one thing in the calendar.
Oh, what about
okay.
Navalny will die in a couple of years. Alexei Navalny.
He's dead.
Oh, I know. That's
did my point. Did Prigozhin die?
Yeah,
very soon after all the stuff went down. It was probably on the show.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't remember Prince Andrew's interview. I can't remember if Prigozhin died. The thing is that when the thing went down with Prigozhin, the whole world was going, oh, he'll be dead in a day. Everyone was saying that.
Everyone knew he was dead man walking.
So when he died, I guess my brain couldn't remember if he actually did die or whether or not I just thought everyone said he was going to die.
No, he died in an unexplained plane crash. Weeks after the mutiny.
That's right. You know where Navalny was being kept?
Some Arctic Circle prison.
Arctic. That's your MaxSec. That's your face-off movie with Nicolas Cage. That's your Alcatraz.
Yeah, man, it was a serious prison he was in. Only the most hardcore criminals
and political people.
Yeah. So he was on, I think, extremist charges is what he actually got done for, and some fraud. They mixed some fraud in there as well.
I'm sure the fraud doesn't get you locked away in the Arctic, though. Anyway. So, that's a good prediction. Put that in the calendar. Get it out of the calendar. Yeah.
Hey, and also there was another opposition leader that was shot dead in 2015.
Yeah.
Boris Nemtsov.
Yeah, Russia and to a greater extent, like the previous USSR, had a pretty rich history of silencing dissidents with execution. So it doesn't really surprise me too much. Yeah. But it is frightening.
It is, isn't it? It is actually terrifying that this happens in this day and age.
I think it's actually quite surprising when you think about when all that shit was going down. We're talking like the era of Stalin, right? You're talking like
Are you talking about time person of the year, Stalin?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Person of the year, Joseph Stalin. Two-time.
Yeah.
I
would not like to be in a Russian supermax.
No, that doesn't sound great. You have to have a lot of balls to be a dissident over there.
Yeah.
To do it here,
Navalny had giant balls.
Of course, you have to possess those.
The biggest.
Because if you want to be a dissident in Australian politics, like just disagree with what the government's doing, you don't get locked up.
Everyone does it, don't they? We have
it's a default position
of disagreeing. Yeah,
yeah, we do.
Albo, it's very quickly just on Australian politics. Albo announced his engagement to his partner.
Right, is this sort of a bit of a political / sort of gossip mag crossover thing that's going on?
Just dropping that in there. Valentine's Day, very
Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, so apparently first Australian leader to get engaged whilst in office. Do you think this will help? This will help his I'm sure he's slightly more popular now.
I hope that the engagement was really about them being at a point in their lives where they wanted to make a serious commitment to one another, and it wasn't just to get a couple of percentage points. I don't know how West Wing this one got, but you'd hope not all that much. But yeah, it might help him out in the polls a bit. I mean, we go to the polls every 3 years here in Australia. So when's the next one?
Oh, I don't know. How long's it been?
I don't know.
I didn't realise Albo's 60. His partner's 45.
Right. Happy with that?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it. I'm excited for him. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you, because it's a stressful job being like a leader of a country. So I mean,
if from a really sort of, and this might just be me, and it will be just me, but how do you get all that done? Meaning, how do you have a successful relationship that results in an engagement whilst doing the hardest job in the country? You know what I mean? How does love blossom in this environment where you never see your kids if you have them, and you have this period where it's like, this is a sacrifice. I'm serving my country. It's going to be hard. You're never going to see me. Do you want to get engaged?
Yeah, but you get that sweet pension, right? He's getting that sweet government pension.
No, it's worth 100%. It's more of the travel allowances, right? You get a bunch of travel allowances. You get to zip around.
Yeah, that's much talked about. Yeah, but I'm sorry, I railroaded you from
the
I
predictions.
Don't know how we got into Australian politics. Oh, the predictions. Oh, okay, I've got one. Okay, all right. Okay, I want to do something with fission power.
Okay, you want to do something with it. Nate does something with fission power. What year would that happen? What are we talking here? Like fission being used as a power, as a in the same way that nuclear power plants became a thing? Or what are you talking about?
No, sorry. I want to do something with fusion, should I say? So fusion power is what the sun does. Sorry.
Right. So you want some of that?
Yeah, I want some of that, because we've been told that's 20 years away for about 50 years.
Really?
Yes, I want sustainable
fusion
power.
So you reckon that's in 10?
Well, I want let's say in 10. Let's say in 10. So let's say 19 February 2034.
I think for the long distance ones, we'll just do a year. But 2034, great. Okay. We're talking fusion power.
A fusion power reactor.
What does that look like? A sun in a jar?
Well, we've got this. We need a better way of sharing pictures as well. I don't have it.
I'm sure I can Google it. I'm sure I can Google whatever you're Googling. Yeah. But what are you looking at? Fusion reactors?
And so to give you a sense of. No, sorry. I had a picture previously.
I've got the picture. It just looks like a whole bunch of pipes zipping around a room.
So I mean, the dream's always been that, because when you smash particles together, they release a small amount of energy.
Yes,
and so the potential is for clean, inexhaustible supply of energy, which is what our sun does. but it's really hard and it's really complicated.
It looks a bit complicated. I'm on the Wikipedia page. When there's a Wikipedia page and it's about maybe 30 pages of real stuff long, and it says at the top is a proposed form of power generation that would generate electricity by using heat from nuclear fusion reactions, which is what we were talking about.
Yes.
Fusion research into fusion reactors began in the 1940s, but as of 2024, no device has reached net power, although net positive reactions have been achieved.
Yes. Recently we did a break even. So in 2022 there was a break even. We shot a whole bunch of lasers at a small target, and it used a huge amount of energy, but it released more than the fuel that went into it. So it was they called that a break even, but we've just had, I'm pretty sure we recently just had
it's saying net positives have been achieved.
Yes.
Net have been achieved.
And so what's interesting is we have thermonuclear weapons. All right, that is a fusion reaction.
Great. So we've turned them into the bomb.
That's
we just
pretty
haven't
easy.
Figured out how to do the power bit.
Yeah, slowing the reaction down and controlling it—that's the hard part. Like actually just doing
that's what a nuclear
explosion.
Reactor is currently, right? A very, very slow nuclear bomb, an extremely slow nuke. Releases energy over time rather than right away.
But I'm pretty sure that's doing fission.
Which we're doing. We've got some of that going already.
Yeah, so fission's fine. Like we do, that's what our power plants are now. But a fusion, which is joining molecules, like fission is decay, so that the atoms start really big and they decay and they release neutrons, and it's like a nuclear reactor. That's a nuclear, like the old style nuclear bombs is a fission nuclear bomb, and we've mastered that. I mean, those reactors are great. I don't know why we just don't implement more fission nuclear reactors, because they're fine. They're pretty safe.
All I'm thinking, right, is the thermonuclear bomb, right? The big one, the Tsar bomb, number two, right?
Yes.
The one that, was 50 megaton, right?
Yes.
You launch that into a jar, right? And when that bit comes where it burns 10,000 times brighter than the sun, that bit, grab it. Grab the energy out. Suck it out.
Just extract that, yeah.
And then we just keep launching nukes into the jar every time you need some. I don't know why it's up to me to solve these problems. I really don't. You know how that guy solved Elon Musk's problem with Starship? There's just going to be some, guy sitting in some, I don't know, black project office going, and goes into work tomorrow and he's like, oh, dude, do I say the jar thing? Fuck, do I do the jar thing? Jesus. Don't do the jar thing.
So I think it's important actually to think about the fission and the fusion side of things, where we're at with things. Okay, so because the reason it's relevant is NASA is progressing with its fission surface power plant project, which is to develop a nuclear fission reactor on the moon.
So we can't do it here, but we think
fission. Fission is a normal nuclear power plant, which we've got the hang of.
I thought you said fusion. Sorry. Why are they so close together? When they did fission, yes. Why didn't they say, why don't we just come up with a kablunki for this one? Because we've already got fusion.
Yeah, because all they're doing is it's one S difference and one vowel difference. So they're adding an extra S and changing one vowel. That's not enough.
Pretty lazy.
That's like if your name was Not and my name's or Knit or something and mine's Nate. It'd be very difficult.
Or Note.
Was it Knit, not Nate? Yeah. It's like we need different, like at least a different starting letter. Maybe we can think of something. Anyway, so NASA has they're through, I think, phase 1, which is giving out some grants to some companies to start doing design and stuff like that. Let me find it here. Okay,
yeah, nukes on the moon. Let's go.
Because solar power on the moon has its problems. Like we were talking about last week, they've got a 14.5 day night. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous that we're landing in parts of the moon with darkness and we're sending them up there with a little battery and a solar panel.
Yeah, because those permanently shadowed areas where there's likely to be water ice.
A few litres of fuel in as well, just to charge the battery up.
Just a diesel generator.
Yeah.
because combustion, I'm not sure how well combustion works on the moon. I don't know what kind of, is there any oxygen on the moon at all? Because you need oxygen to do.
It wouldn't work.
No. Okay, so NASA has issued contracts. They're currently wrapping up phase 1, the concept design stage. So there's a couple of requirements they have for this, just in case you want to build a fission.
Yeah, I'll write down some requirements.
So it has to be under 6 ton.
Right. Fuck.
It has to be, you have to be able to produce 40 kilowatts, which is about 33 ordinary households worth of electricity usage.
Great.
It has to be able to operate for a decade without human intervention. So no servicing.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That's not entirely true.
What do you mean? Why is that not true?
Well, like a nuclear power plant today has a similar capability, to have a 35-year life or something. But they've still got people working there. It's not like they go, right, turn it on, everyone get the fuck out. There's a lot to do at nuclear power plants.
Yeah, but I think this
is a bit different. Yeah, this is a modular approach.
Yep.
It's probably only providing power to a base, potentially 35 houses worth of base stuff.
But also, if you send up a scientist, they've got enough on their plate. They shouldn't have to also maintain the nuclear reactor on the moon.
Yeah, but you'd be pretty sad if you're one bloke on the moon. If it's going to be sustained presence on the moon, you get a nuke guy there. They'd have a nuke guy there just in case. You need someone who's going to be able to check on it.
It's actually tough because I know on Earth the problem with fission nuclear power plants is you need power to be able to run the reactor safely.
Yeah, to pump the water through, right?
And it's also, to pump the water through, to slow down the reaction. So it's happening, but you need you need power to be able to do things.
Correct.
If you lose power to the power plant.
Big problems.
Massive
problems.
So I wonder how this one's going to work, because what's its backup?
Solar panels, surely.
What? And then
a couple of panels on the roof.
But if it has a problem during the night.
Yeah, it's fucked. Then the alarms go off.
Man, nuclear stuff's amazing. Atoms are just, they're out of control.
What are they doing, man? I don't trust them.
I know. Is anyone actually keeping an eye on these things?
This is another one of those things that we take the scientist's word for it. We have to. They tell us there's atoms. I haven't had a good look at them. Have you had a good look at them?
Not lately.
When's the last time you had? I've used an electron microscope. Have you used an electron microscope?
Have you? I have not, no.
Yeah, you have. We used them at school. I went to the same school as you. So
an electron microscope?
An electron microscope.
I don't know.
No, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It could have just been a microscope. I don't know.
We definitely had microscopes as well, but I remember there was a microscope that got brought in that was like, no, this is a specky microscope.
Yeah, okay. No,
So I don't know if it was electro. I think they were called electro, not electron.
No, look, electron microscope, $140.
Oh, well, let's get one. So we have to take their word for it, right? Even though most people base what they believe on what they can sort of see and touch and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you get told that there is space between all atoms.
Yeah, more space. So far more space.
Far more space.
99% of an atom is empty space.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but how come I can't phase through a wall?
Yeah, because they're tight. They're still, there's forces of attraction between them.
Yeah.
And so they sort of sit in some kind of, I don't know, like lattice.
Like a web.
Yeah, like a web.
Or a mesh.
An electron microscope is a microscope that uses a beam of electrons as a source of illumination.
There you go.
A beam of electrons sounds
So when complex. You said electron microscope, it made me think that you can look at electrons and then we're talking.
No.
But that's not what it's doing at all. So I'm pretty sure that's the bad boy we used in high school.
Man, looking at an electron, I'm pretty sure that's the smallest thing going around. Is there anything smaller than an electron?
Yeah, there is.
It's an
quarks?
elementary. Yeah, quarks. But quarks will be way bigger than an electron because 3 quarks make up a proton or a neutron. And a proton and neutron is like a fucking planet to an electron. Not a planet, but, they're far, far bigger. Neutrinos.
It's funny how, like, the universe sort of looks like what things look like under a microscope. You know what I mean? In that sense that it doesn't matter if you go super grand universe or super tiny, it all looks pretty cosmic to me.
Neutrinos,
they're the smallest things.
Well, they're smaller than electrons. There's not much smaller.
But we could find something smaller if we could see them, right? We need bigger microscopes.
Well, the question is, what's an electron or a positron, which is like a positive electron? I think they seem to be more rare. I don't know if that's just antimatter or what. But anyway, electrons are pretty fucking small. And and what makes up an electron? I love the theory. I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, that we can't isolate and look at one electron. I don't think it's possible. I don't think we've been able to do it, is my understanding. And theoretically, and one reason why we can't lock it down and see it and analyze it has led someone to come up with the theory that there's only one electron in the universe, which is time traveling and everywhere and anywhere at once. Because that's right, all electrons are indistinguishable. Something like that, So if they're all indistinguishable, there is a possibility there is just one time traveling electron that just fucking does it all.
Mm.
It would be weird if God was just an electron, wouldn't it?
Ever present.
Yeah, you think it'd be something really big, but instead you're just like, no, it's just a little guy. It's a little busybody.
Yeah, we're still imagining a dude with a white beard on a chair, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're still assigning very human things to this concept. White beard. Does he look like a bit like Zeus?
Hey,
I watched one of those scientists explain that test that they do where they fire something through the 2 slits. Have you this one?
Yes.
And then it shows the sort of splatter patterns of when it's observed. Look, it got explained to me again, right? And the guy at the end of it, the guy at the end of the thing says, "This proves to be the one world-breaking thing that we can't figure this out or whatever."
Is it the duality of light, the wave particle?
What are they shooting at it again?
A beam, just a beam of electrons, or I think it's just a beam of light.
Particles. They're shooting.
It's a beam of light. Yeah, particles of light. Photons. That's the
photons.
word.
There you go. Okay, so, but is this the thing about the observable thing?
No, it's not about the electron thing. No, it's about the wave particle duality of light.
Yeah, look, it's
so some people say it's a wave. Some people apparently it can't be both. It needs to be one or the other, but it is both, and it's quite confusing.
Leave it up to something like light to be different. But we got fungus. We got funguses. They neither classify that as an animal or a plant. They had to do a new thing for it. Light's got a special place in the cosmological pool.
Yeah, we know a lot about light, don't we? We're pretty educated on all this physics stuff.
We are? Yeah.
We're the authority.
Very.
Photons. Put your physics textbooks away and just...
They're useless anyway. They were written in the, early 2000s?
Things have changed.
Yeah, put them in the bin.
I did some homework.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you watch something?
No, I joined something.
Oh, okay. Go on.
I joined Truth Social.
Did you?
I got an account.
What's the homepage like?
It just looks like Twitter.
I know, but what was immediately available to you when you signed up?
Oh, it pretty much just recommended that I follow. I had to follow two people, and the first two they recommended was Trump and Donald Trump Jr. I thought that's my target market anyway.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The Trump Jr. and Trump, the dumpster.
Yeah.
So what do you want? You want his campaign stuff?
I just want to see what he's up. What
is
he's
Biden on Truth Social?
There was actually a third one I followed.
Yeah,
and it was at Biden HQ, but the reason I followed it is it's a picture of Biden and he's got red like laser beam eyes, evil eyes.
Okay, so this is a troll account.
Yeah, it must be, but
so it's going to be hilarious.
It's verified.
Right. Whoa, what does that mean?
It's got a little tick next to his name.
Right. And have you garnered much truth yet off Truth Social?
I know
any truths.
Well, the only thing I picked up is Trump attended SneakerCon on the weekend.
Okay. Is that a sneaker thing?
Yeah, and there were these gold sneakers on either side of his podium.
Right.
And people were just losing their mind. They were very excited to see him. Yeah. They started getting used to the USA chant. USA. And then Trump was fist pumping.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand that a bit more these days, right?
Why's that?
This love for Trump, right? It's similar to how people love Taylor Swift, right? Like the fans of Taylor Swift really love her. They think she's the best, buy all her albums, go to her concerts, buy the merch, right? It's the same with these like middle Americans. They just love him. They think he's the best. They think he's sent from God.
Yeah.
They think he's the best president of the United States. They all say he did wonderful stuff while he was in. They would say, lift the term limits. I'm going to make a bold prediction for the prediction calendar.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I get to pick, I'll just pick an election year. I'm going to say Jon Stewart runs for president. I don't think he'll win, even get the nom.
Good
but
one.
I think he could run.
Yeah. Okay. What year are you putting that down for?
Depending on how this next 4 years goes. I mean, if Biden wins and Kamala Harris and they go for another 4 more years, if they do that, there's no real reason for John to get involved, if that makes any sense, because the Democratic Party are going fine. It's if Trump wins and they have to deal with this nightmare all over again. Part of America are really opposed to Donald Trump. They don't want him to be president at all. Some of them don't even think he should be eligible to run. So
yeah,
you've got both camps.
That's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, you would have seen Trump just got done for this fraud ruling. He got an adverse fraud ruling, and he was fined $350 million.
$350 million.
Yeah.
Well, fraud. I mean, depending on what you did, I guess that makes sense.
He thinks the whole thing's cooked up and politically motivated.
There could be people taking advantage of this, but if he's guilty of the thing, he's guilty of the thing. It's irrelevant that he's running for president.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that doesn't matter to me.
This is what he said 7 hours ago.
On Truth Social?
Yes, on Truth Social. We can't allow crooked or compromised judges and prosecutors to get away with what they are doing to your favorite president, me, in New York City and state, Fulton County, Atlanta.
I don't like any of that language.
I know.
I much prefer a president or a person who says, hey guys, we're just letting the justice system take its course at the moment. I can't really talk about it too much because of reasons, but I'll be sure to update you guys when I hear anything. Love you guys. Love America. Thanks for the support. That's what you're meant to say. That's what a politician would say. But he's not a politician at all. He's an inflammatory reality show host.
Yeah.
Out to, there's something I recognized about what his 2016 campaign was like, and probably what his 2020 campaign was like, is that if you say enough stuff, right, yes, a lot of it's going to be inflammatory and shot down by everybody, more or less, except for the people in your party that you're appealing to, which could be 5% of them, appealing to. He says like enough things that people find something to agree with somewhere in there. Whereas Biden will come out, do his like talking points, talk about the regular things that Democratic leaders like to talk about, which is all good stuff, by the way. It's all like, better schools, better healthcare, tax the rich, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But he's very rigid on his talking points and what he can promise and what he can deliver and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Trump just claims he can deliver everything and that he's the best at everything. And
that resonates with some people.
It does, especially people who
want
had
that
a gutful
particular
of
thing.
the political system as it lies. People who are just upset in general at how the country is run, who think somehow that the Apprentice host will be able to fix it. I mean, people talk about a country just being a really big business, one of the biggest, right? But Donald Trump, it's a weird one. I like the comedy of it all, and I've said in the past that I'm willing to sacrifice the psyche of Americans for at least for 4 more years so that we can get some comedic value over here, because we've been sort of starved of that lately. But it is a truly terrifying prospect for some people over there.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I just hate that I think is just the worst. The whole Roe v. Wade thing was really bad. But yeah, no, let's have some comedy. Jon Stewart's come back to The Daily Show. Is that what it's called? Yeah, The Daily Show. For Mondays, I believe, for the next year or so. So he's going to be covering the race, which will be something to watch this year, I promise. Every Monday, well, that'll be Tuesday in Australia. Go and find Jon Stewart's bit on the week, because he's the best.
Yeah, okay.
He is the best.
How long's that?
What do you mean?
His little
he'll do something about he'll do a wrap of the week and probably go for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
And you'll get a lot of the campaign stuff because that's what he's going to be focused on. And he does a really good job, man. He does a really good job.
For some reason, I like following the US election. It's more exciting.
I do too. It's sort of like the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of got that level of, the stakes are pretty high. You know, if you're the leader of the free world, the stakes couldn't be higher.
100%. Did you see the highlights for the Super Bowl?
Yeah. What a game.
It was a pretty good
game.
Didn't
we talk about it?
We didn't. I hadn't seen the highlights, so we had talked about it. But the video that we put up today as well, I think I may have misled you when I said that it was the Super Bowl video, and you blindly believed me and made it.
Yeah, you botched it.
Yeah, it's about the time.
I fixed it. I fixed it, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I fixed it, but it did go up like that.
Yeah.
And no, that's fine. Doesn't
work.
matter.
I was going to give you a heads up, and I was like, it's like...
I fixed it.
Yeah.
Only a couple of people would have clicked on that and gone, what the fuck is this? This has got nothing to do with the Super Bowl.
I thought if we never changed it would just never matter anyway. But I'm glad you did it. Hey, so I watched the highlights. I was pretty surprised because the 49ers had an extra point blocked pretty late in the game.
That's brutal.
And
but they lost
caused
by 3.
overtime. No, but then that caused it to go into overtime. So if that didn't get blocked and everything went the same, which can happen.
There's your ESPN documentary in about 15 years.
Unbelievable. What a play. I mean, blocking a field goal to send you into – it wasn't the last scoring or non-scoring play of the game.
Right, it was just
in the last quarter.
We don't like to play that game where, we do it in football all the time. Or if you didn't touch that behind, we would have lost and that sort of shit.
But the game is not the extra point. The thing with the extra point,
it's almost a guarantee.
It's a standalone play that after the play, no matter – it's different to AFL, whereas if you kick a point, you kick the ball out from the goals instead of the ball going back to the middle, whereas the ball goes back to it gets reset from the kick in a standard way. So it's a standalone play. So if you kick it, everything afterwards other than
Are you sure about this though? Because if you block it, what happens then? Is the ball live from there?
No, you just don't get the you can score off you can but it wasn't scored. It was just blocked and incomplete, and that's the end of the play. If you catch it, if you go for a field goal, like say you try and kick from 55, right? You put one of your defenders on basically in the goals, in the end zone. If you don't make the distance and they catch it, it's game on. They can run it back for a touchdown.
Yeah. What about in the case of an extra point? Is it going to still reset the play is my question.
It's at the end of that play, it goes back to the same position you would have been whether you kicked it or not.
Great. Yep, got it.
So, I mean, that is truly – and so the only thing that would be different is your mindset. Like, for example, even the commentators, when they blocked it, said, ooh, blocked field goal. Geez, that could be huge.
Yeah, well, Well said, commentator. Really covering your bases there. Could be huge, could be nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the final score, because what happened is they were going to go up by 4 points, which puts them out of field goal range to draw. But instead, they remained only up by 3, which means all the Chiefs had to do slot one through the big sticks, and then it's overtime, baby.
Yep. So, and they did it. And I actually thought they lost. Like, I thought Taylor Swift's boyfriend's teams lost because they were 3 points down in OT. And I was like, well, this is GG. But they got one of those touchdowns, and that gives you 6 points. And I don't even think they kicked the extra point. Now, on extra points, in NFL Blitz 2000, which I used to play a bunch on the PlayStation 1, when you wanted to go for an extra point, there was no play. You click extra point, it gives you the point because they just guaranteed it. They just, if you want to go for the extra point play after a touchdown, it just says extra point +1, or do you want to make a play? Like go for a running play or a throw or a fake out or whatever. So I can understand why that is huge in a game because it rarely happens.
Although, when was that? What was the game that you were referring to then?
NFL Blitz 2000.
NFL Blitz 2000. Okay,
it's a very arcadey game. It's not a Madden. It's the kind of NFL game where you can jump on the tackled person over and over again after the play, and like drive elbows into them and stuff. Like it's not.
That's what you want.
Yeah, it is a very fun game.
So around, I'm not an expert on this, maybe 5 years ago, they actually changed the rules to make the extra point a little bit more relevant. So instead of kicking from, I think it was 10 out or 15 out, they moved it back 10 meters to 25 out.
25 meters, or is that yards?
Yards, but it's not far. It's only slightly further back, but it's going to create, instead of being a 99% success rate, which is basically no one cares.
Or something.
Yeah, it goes to maybe 90% or something. So it starts to be like there is actually an element of there is risk in taking the extra point. It's not a guaranteed result.
Yeah, there should be a documentary about the kicker who was the best in the league the year before the changes and then just couldn't adjust to the extra 3.5 meters. You know, the 10 yards, that's about 3.5 meters. Couldn't adjust, just always falling short.
Ruined his career.
Yeah, he was the best. 100% accuracy. It was a bit of a gimme. So I'm putting into the prediction list, Jon Stewart runs for office 2032. Will he be alive?
The thing with the calendar items, I'm just thinking how we need to do this. Because you just want him to run for president sometime in his life. No.
I'm doing for 2032. He's going to run.
Okay.
Because I don't think he's going to run in 28.
Yeah, okay. They're the good one.
So I'm going for the one after that. He'll be, by the way, in 2032, he will be 69 years old.
Oh, he's probably a bit young for presidents these days, isn't he? 69?
He should go now, but it's a bit busy at the moment. But that'll be worth watching. And look out for Jon Stewart on the presidential trail, on the campaign trail. We're swinging it up.
Have you thought much
excellent
about
Martin Sheen?
Martin Sheen? Oh, yeah.
I think he'll make a great Martin Sheen, yeah.
Yeah, West Wing. Okay, yeah, good. Year of the Dragon, have you thought about it much?
Yes, I have actually.
To be a dragon?
I have actually.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't thought about what it means to be a dragon.
Oh, I've tried, but I haven't got anywhere with it. But so, and just to give you some background as well, because I had no idea, but the Chinese New Year works on a different calendar. I know it moves each year. It's a bit like Easter. You know, it follows the moons.
Yeah, it's the lunar cycle. Correct.
Yes. So it begins with the second new moon after the winter solstice. So it's normally between the 21st of January and the 20th of February.
Yeah.
And then there's a 15-day celebration until the next full moon, which this year is 24 Feb. So we're still in celebration mode. I don't know if you feel it. I feel it.
Yes. Very much so.
And the dragon's supposed to be quite an auspicious animal.
Yes.
For the Chinese.
Yes.
It's not just China, is it? Like it's Chinese New Year, but Vietnam, there's a lot of countries that celebrate Chinese New Year.
Lunar New Year is probably a more broader way to put it.
Yeah, right.
Let me read you something. It's a list. I'm going to read them all out. Okay. Rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig. What do they all have in common?
I think I know where you're getting this. They're all real animals.
They're all real animals.
They're all real animals. But
I left one out. I omitted one. Yes, I omitted the dragon, which came after the rabbit, or should have, in that cycle. Now, the dragon, right, doesn't exist.
It's legendary.
What I'm going to say is it either did exist,
or that's
got to be on the table. It's got to be on the table. There's too much dragon stuff going on in this history books. Or we're dealing with something which we would think may have looked like a dragon at some point.
I've got one more alternative.
There's a suggestion here that it could have, in an old Turkic calendar, it is replaced by a fish or crocodile. So, crocodile I could understand. Komodo dragon I could understand.
Yeah, it looks a bit crocodile-y, doesn't it? Like a dragon, sort of like scaly. Mm-hmm. I mean, the wings really separate a dragon. Like that's obviously. So, but what about this one? A dragon could exist in the future.
How so?
Well, a dragon could evolve.
Yes.
A crocodile with wings.
Yes.
Is that not a dragon?
No.
Does it need to breathe fire?
No. I don't think in the Chinese dragon cultural traditions that it breathes fire.
Oh, okay. But I'm saying we could genetically engineer a dragon, perhaps.
Or they could have been looking at, and let's not discount this, ancient technology. Perhaps there was rocket ships back then that they misinterpreted for dragons. So could be a rocket ship, what we're looking at here with this Chinese zodiac.
I like that a lot. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Flying thing, breathes fire.
Yeah, it's basically an alien spaceship, isn't it?
Yep. Or an earthly one.
But they love the dragon. Doing. Apparently the Lunar New Year lovers love a good dragon.
Who wouldn't? But I'm sure that they would love a good ox and a good dog.
No, they like the rabbit, I believe. Give me the list of them. What were they? The pig is quite good.
Yeah, so rat, ox. So rat.
I think rat's actually pretty, but people like rat. I'm not saying people like rats. There's certain years are seen to be more lucky than others. Dragon is the big one. Literally, women would have been squeezing their legs together to keep the babies in until the year of the dragon, because it's just that freaking lucky.
Well, if you have the choice between rabbit and dragon, stay in the womb a little longer because the dragon's coming. Like, that's way cooler than a rabbit.
They actually say there's baby booms during the year of the dragon. So every 12 years, these Asian countries that follow the Lunar New Year have big baby booms.
That makes sense.
They plan for it.
So after dragon in the list is snake and horse. Don't you think a dragon is pretty much a snake, a horse together? I'm not seeing a lot of these depictions with wings, by the way. Anyway, they just look like a long, scaly bad boy, but I could be wrong.
And China has one of the longest histories as well. So maybe maybe these alien spaceships are just creeping through in the symbology.
In all the depictions I'm seeing, there's no wings going on here for these dragons. They look like just snakes with legs.
Yeah, right.
Like a big lizard. So how much of that is just us, putting our own biases into it? Like, we watched Pete the Dragon when we were kids. We watched Lord of the Rings when we were teenagers. Like, we know what a dragon's supposed to look like in our heads.
Maybe they're chasing the dragon.
Yes. Do you think that dragons in film should go down the road of Jurassic World and maybe put some feathers on them now that we know that dinosaurs were probably feathered beasts?
Could be more accurate.
Would make more sense. You got this flying thing. Makes more sense if it's more related to a bird than a crocodile. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
I got an ad when I opened up my Steam, and it was for Goat Simulator 3.
Yeah, number 3 came out.
Number 3, and this just when you mentioned Goat as being one of the
well, you don't want to play
Chinese
Goat Simulator 3?
Well, how are they at number 3? It must be that popular.
Okay, so have you ever played Tony Hawk Skateboarder? Have you played Tony Hawk 1, Tony Hawk 2, the classics?
Yeah.
Well, this is just that, except you're in control of a goat. It's exactly the same.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Even when you jump on if you jump on like a grind and you do like a grind, it'll feel like a Tony Hawk game, I guess, in those times.
So is that pretty much all you're doing? You're cruising around like you're a skateboarder?
Nah, it's like, how best to describe it? The level design feels very Tony Hawk. Like the way that the world is built feels very Tony Hawk. Like there's jobs to do and missions to do. It'll be like knock the guy off the crane. You know those cool missions in Tony Hawk where it'll be like light up the signboard, and to do that you've got to do a big jump onto a power breaker or something, and then it turns the sign on. You know those sort of missions. Yeah. It's that kind of stuff, but you're a goat.
Okay, because it's $28 right now, 35% off.
No, it's not worth.
So it's normally $44 for Goat Simulator.
Yeah, no, it's on Game Pass, I'm pretty sure. So Game Pass is like the Netflix. It's like Xbox Game Pass. It's like Netflix, but for games.
Oh, yes. I haven't.
So
is that worth?
I pay like $10 or $15 a month, and there's just hundreds of games.
So what percentage of games would you say are on there that someone might want to play?
It's people usually do it for one game. You know, like Microsoft Flight Simulator will come out and they'll be like, oh, I really want to play that, but I don't want to spend $100 on it. Someone wants to play, you know, the FIFAs a year after they come out, because like all the sport games go up on there, like Madden 24 is there and stuff. And there's just heaps of game studios that Microsoft are buying up now. So they just add shit all the time.
And so how's it work? Do you have to download the game? You would have to play, right? You don't.
Well, they've got cloud gaming. It's not very good. I've used the cloud gaming a bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. What's on Go? There's that Pokemon one that I was playing. I'm not playing that anymore. The problem is that when you're given something for what you perceive to be nothing, meaning like it's the same with Netflix. You pay your $10 or whatever, and because you've got unlimited access to this content, you don't appreciate it. When you used to go to, like JB Hi-Fi, pick up a DVD with your birthday money, like that shit meant something. You'd go home, you'd watch it, turn it back, you'd do it again, do it again. And you really cared about it. Whereas now you can watch a movie for about 3 minutes and go, you know what?
Give up on it.
This is shit. I'm out. And it's the same with games, especially if you receive them for what you perceive to be nothing, which is how I sort of view subscriptions, although that's not very healthy.
Yeah, I only had so many games because I had to pick one and then I was sort of stuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sort of played them all.
Loved it.
Yeah, even if it wasn't the best game, I cherished it.
Absolutely.
And speaking of Tony Hawk, I've been digging slow-mo skating flippies on YouTube. Because now with the Phantom cams, they can slow it down and you get to see exactly what their feet are doing. I had no
it's pretty
idea.
Impressive.
It's very,
pretty cool.
It's quite, they have a deft touch with their feet. Like the way they manipulate the board
right? Like straight muscle memory
with their toes. Yeah.
They're sort of sliding the foot up the board to start an ollie and stuff. It's quite amazing.
But even when they do the ollie and then they'll tap like the front nose of the board and send it flipping this way and that. It's nuts. I'll send you one to have a look at. That got me going. Yeah. And then at the end of the video, they show you the full speed, all the six moves.
Yeah, so someone's landing like an impossible or something, and it's in super slow motion.
Yeah, because you get used to
Was it doing the impossible? Because I've seen that one done in slow motion because people, it was called the impossible because it should be called.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I'll check it out, yeah. Because you get used, because it's all in slow-mo, you start to actually think that that's just reality because you just keep seeing it slow and you're like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like the other ones. And then at the end, it just shows you there's 6 or 7 tricks, full speed, and you're just like, what the fuck just happened there? Well, you think it was sped up. Because it looks like it happens all so quick.
Yeah. It's funny how Hollywood does its best to replicate things. Like for example, boxing, right? Like they'll do a Rocky movie and you're watching it. And if you're a boxing fan or more so me, an MMA fan, if you're watching an MMA movie scene, you just think, this doesn't look real at all. Like this looks completely bullshit, right? Whereas real life is raw and gnarly. There were some fights on the weekend, actually. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention at all.
Volkanovski fought on the weekend against Topura, and he got knocked the fuck out in the second round.
Volk did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he's done, isn't he?
So all of the lead up to the fight, he was doing this old man routine. He was doing a bunch of campaigns, I think for Sportsbet or someone like that. And he was also showing up to the press conferences wearing his old man gear, which was similar to what Conor McGregor was rocking like the year he became mega famous. Like,
was he leaning into the fact that he's a bit older?
Yeah, I think there must. I haven't been following it too closely, but I imagine that either there was words said where it was like, "Hey man, hey old man," and he's trying to combat that by saying, "Yeah, I'm an old man that's going to kick your ass," or whether or not he was embracing being, what is he, 35? Yeah, 35, basically on death's door. Going out there, doing his best. Apparently, I didn't watch the fight, but apparently the first round he looked really good. I think he was winning the fight. He just got clipped. So he's trying to set up an immediate rematch. I don't think they'll do that, even though he is the most dominant featherweight champion in history of the UFC. There's only been 5. You got Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, Volkanovski, this guy, Topura, and there's one that I'm missing. Who am I missing?
Oh, because he went up, didn't he? Volk went up to fight Islam.
Yes. So he went to lightweight, got beat up there.
Okay. But that works in his favour.
Well, he doesn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Well, it makes Islam go up the lists.
He's always going. He's going straight to the top. Isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's the lightweight champion. Pretty much the most coveted championship at the moment, besides the heavyweight championship, is the lightweight one, because that's where Conor was kicking around last, so people all want that fight, obviously.
Still, yeah.
Featherweight championship. Okay, so Jose Aldo, inaugural. Conor McGregor. Max Holloway, I forgot. Volkanovski, Topura. There was Yair Rodriguez, but he only had the interim title, so we can count that.
Any other fights that I should be aware of?
Robert Whittaker fought. Okay. Paulo Costa.
Yeah. Against each other?
Yep, they fought each other.
I didn't know Costa was still going. Is he still as big as he always was?
He's scary, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a scary boy.
He's one of those guys that looks like he's carved out of stone. There's like...
Yeah, I think he used to be a bit more cut, to be honest. He still looked like a statue, but yes, you're right. He beat him by decision. So they went to a decision there. Who else fought? Ian Gary fought Jeff Neal.
Hey, so is that UFC 298?
That's 298.
That was 298. So have they announced the 300 fighters?
I heard that was going to happen over the weekend, and then I heard nothing.
Because what was my claim? Who did I say was fighting?
Oh, we should make some predictions for UFC 300. That's a really good one because, so they've announced – they did announce it. So Alex Pereira is going to be defending his light heavyweight championship for the first time against Jamal Hill.
Okay.
Zhang Weili's fighting, defending her championship, and Justin Gaethje, who apparently is the UFC lightweight champion, he's fighting Max Holloway.
Oh,
bloody hell! There's another sort of 9 cards on the fight already announced.
Oliveira.
So let's pretend, for fun, because we can. Oliveira is also fighting on the card. Yes. Let's pretend that they haven't announced the main event yet. And let's say that Dana's got a surprise for UFC 300. So there's a fight on this card that's missing. We can add it. A main event.
Okay. I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out because Holly Holm's fighting as well. She's way down the list.
Holly Holm, Cody Garbrandt, Bo Nickel, Bobby Green, Jessica Andrade.
This Yuri, what's his name? I don't know what his name is.
Yuri Prochayak.
I hear he's a gun.
Yeah, he is a gun. And the reason that they're probably putting him there, I don't know what he's ranked, but in this position, when the light heavyweight title's on the line on the same card as you, it looks like you're getting the next shot because that's what lines up for the camps.
So what's his deal? Isn't he like some kind of samurai type dude in terms of, doesn't he have like a weird martial arts background or approach to martial arts? I don't know if I'm thinking of the right guy. Someone, I thought it was him, has this.
I'm not sure.
Peculiar background. Anyway,
I'm not sure, but he was a big fan growing up of Fedor and Krokop, and so was I. I'm going to say we're going to get Brock Lesnar in, right?
So he was UFC 100, wasn't he?
And 200.
And 200.
Yeah. And Jim Miller, who is fighting on what looks to be the first night of the card, if you're reading this fight card, has fought at 100, 200, and will be the only fighter to have competed at all three. Jim Miller.
Unbelievable.
I didn't know
So
Dana's already dropped that tidbit. He's a company man. Dana's already dropped that tidbit, which means Brock Lesnar's not fighting, let alone he's got other problems at the moment. Who else can we get? Who's a big enough draw? Conor McGregor's already fighting in June, so that's not happening.
And that's amazing. Why is he just is he blackmailing Dana White or something? How is this Jim Miller guy that I've never heard of on UFC 100, 200 and 300?
What do you mean? Blackmailing? Probably quite the opposite.
He's got 55 fights under his belt.
Yeah, and most of them, the vast majority of them were in the UFC, which is incredible.
37 wins.
Yeah, since he was 12-1, so 11-1, he was in the UFC. That's 40 fights in the UFC. That's mental. Okay. He did go for the title once.
How's he staying relevant? Incredible.
Or did he not go for the title? He's a journeyman, dude.
Yeah, man.
He's been around forever and he keeds fighting. There's another guy like that
I'm
you should look up.
I'm going out there. I reckon Jim Miller might be the GOAT. I reckon the availability issue and the...
well, then you might want to look up a guy called Andrei Arlovsky. Have you ever seen that highlight of the guy that gets knocked out midair by Fedor?
No.
So he I think he's trying to throw like a flying knee and gets KO'd like midair, right?
How do you spell his last name?
Arlovsky, Arlovski, Arlovsky. So he's had
he looks familiar.
57 fights and
59 I've got here.
Well, okay.
Yeah, but they might not all have been in UFC. I don't know.
No, that wouldn't just be UFC fights because he fought for everyone. Strikeforce, Pride, maybe not Pride, M1, Strikeforce, Elite XC,
yeah, he's coming off 3 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 45, so...
Yeah. But he's come back.
What is wrong with his nose?
Well, he's been in 59 fights, dude.
It's completely... it's
in
like
that,
fucking
in that
Cavendish
picture there,
banana.
it's cooked. Yeah, in that photo on his Wikipedia page, it's absolutely cooked. You're right.
Oh.
He's amazing, though, because he's been around forever. Like, if you go back in his fight history... He fought at UFC 28.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, had they even sorted the rules out at that stage? Were they
Let's
still...
see who else fought on UFC 28, just to give you an idea of what was happening. Randy Couture defeated Kevin Randleman. You probably don't even know who Randleman is.
No.
Renato Sabrai, Maurice Smith, Josh Barnett, another guy who's amazingly... still fighting. Jens Pulver. Yeah.
Oh, he went through a bit of a tear. Look at this. So he beat Brendan Schwab, Antonio Silva.
Yeah.
Or Schwab, is it? I don't even know.
Yeah, Antonio Bigfoot Silva. He's the one that, yep, big boy.
And these are all consecutive. Travis Brown.
Huge.
Frank Mir.
Yep.
Then lost to Stipe.
That was going to happen back then.
Lost to Reem.
That was going to happen back then.
Lost to Barnett. Josh Barnett.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Lost to Francis Ngannou.
That's fair enough too.
Lost to someone else.
Tybura? Yeah, he probably could have. He probably could have won that. Yep. And then he had a couple of wins.
Yeah, and then he's back on the winning train, but that's tough for him. I mean, and he was only 40 fights in. He still had plenty to go. He still had like another 19 fights after that.
Yeah, oh man. No one should be fighting that much.
It's impressive.
So the guy with the most MMA fights ever is a guy named Travis Fulton. He's had 320 bouts.
No.
Mm.
No.
Mm.
How often was he fighting? Weekly?
Yeah, sometimes. So he'd be cruising around the regional circuits. So if you look at the early part of his career, it's like, oh my God. It's pretty wild. Travis Fulton. Fulton is Fulton. Travis Fulton. A ridiculous amount of fights.
Has he just fought everyone?
He's also got a professional boxing record that's, oh my God. He's also had
255, 54, and 10.
Yeah, so he's had a lot of wins.
10 draws.
He's had a lot of wins.
Yeah, I'll say. He's winning 5 out of 6 fights.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Does he fight anyone that's decent?
Well, he fought Andrei Arlovsky.
Yeah, okay.
He's pretty decent.
And that was recent as well.
Well, no, that was in 2014.
Oh, sorry.
No, wait,
late in his career.
No, sorry, that was wrong. Has he fought Arlovsky?
Sorry, that was when his record was 247, 49, and 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's... Oh, and it ended in the 4 minutes 59 in the third round.
Yeah, that's amazing.
With a head kick. He lost in the last second to a head kick.
Yeah, it must have been fucking knocked the fuck out. Can't win.
Oh, that's not saved by the bell.
Can't win. No, they don't do that.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to keep persevering. I reckon my wife's been through some adversity, actually. On the weekend, she was telling me on Sunday Arvo. She was telling me, so this is on Sunday Arvo. She tells me since yesterday morning, so Saturday morning, she has been spat on by a girl she doesn't know at a baby shower, accidentally.
Oh, okay. I got spat on purpose. Well,
yeah,
not on purpose.
11-year-old, yeah. So she gets spat on to the point that this girl apologized, of course, and had to pick a chunk of food off her dress. Then then that night went to a 40th. She was 3 of my mates unknowingly spat on her whilst they were talking. Just because they just, too excited, had a few beers, foaming at the mouth, whatever that was going on. And, it's the kind of thing where she just, just politely sort of, you just pretend it didn't happen.
Oh, yes. Because
you're just like,
they're dealing with both parties are struggling with it.
Yeah, probably both. But she says the guy's unknowingly, but she doesn't want to make a big scene of it. It was probably a small amount. It's not as big as the chunk of food that flew across from the other guy. And then the next day, a Sunday morning at her run club, a good friend of hers spits on her, and she goes, "What is with everyone spitting on me at the moment?" 5 times in 24 hours. That's like a record. Like you were telling about one time,
and it stood out to me. It stood out to me. Yes.
I mean, that could perhaps be a world record. I don't know if we have the data on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to prove you've been spat on. You need sort of a team of people following you around all the time to run the appropriate tests, to gather the evidence, the data, witness statements. I mean, that's, this guy, he may have fought 320 times. But I mean, when you're getting spat on 5 times in 24 hours, I mean, I would arguably say she's been through more.
Yes. Wow.
But it's that, she's been fashioned. It's character building. That's what I tell her.
It's hard. It's hard to get spat on all the time.
I'm watching Breaking Bad on DVD, if you can believe that.
What happened to West? What happened to The Wire? What happened to that?
The sound quality is, I'm going to have to get HBO, whatever it is, so I can watch it directly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
hey.
The sound quality wasn't there.
Fair enough.
And they're already speaking gangster lingo that you really need to be able to hear.
Need subtitles.
Yeah.
Subtitles.
Translations
is another good
even.
reason. Yeah. Yep. Great.
And we have, for whatever reason, I have the Breaking Bad DVD set, which I never watched. It's a friend's. I don't know why we had it. And I've got the Xbox 360 sitting there. And so I just use it as a DVD player. And I just thought, let's put one on.
What did you put on? Episode 1?
Episode 1. And it's pretty much everything I remember about Breaking Bad all happens in the one episode, and I don't know where it's going to go from here.
Wow.
He's cooking meth by the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it gets criticism. It gets criticism for like being it doesn't get any criticism at all. But the only criticism you could level against it is that it is a bit slow sometimes. But out of the gate, man, those pilots are always good, man. Always good.
That was fantastic. And episode 2 has the body that falls through Jesse tries to dissolve.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the bath.
Yeah. A body.
And it's
in some
it's
kind
funny
of acid.
how like the show is sort of part MacGyver in that there's always something sciencey that Bryan Cranston can say to Jesse or someone else to make it clear that he is a science guy. And he knows what he's talking about with science stuff. Or he'll fix something in a very science teachery way.
Yeah. And he gets out of dangerous situations like...
with science, bitch.
Yeah, makes like some kind of poisonous gas.
Yep. Hey, the quick one.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Dan from Backchat.
Yeah, best friend of the show, yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think you, Nate, are going to represent Australia in any sport or otherwise?
Highly unlikely.
Here comes Nate representing Australia. You don't think you're going to hear that? Definitely not that.
No, I can't think of what it would possibly be. Like maybe some kind of like old masters competition. Like, if I start doing things into old age and I just outlast people.
They have national comps for that stuff. You could get in.
Yeah.
Either one.
You can start doing.
Okay.
It's like the opposite.
But do you have any aspirations to do that?
No.
Okay.
No.
We'll work on it. Dan, Backchat, friend of the show, competed for Australia in a fistball competition in New Zealand recently.
What is fistball?
So fistball, imagine a soccer pitch. Have you got it?
Yep.
In the middle, volleyball net.
Okay. Does it cover
Players
the whole,
on both
does
sides.
It cover the whole ground? Like from
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's a big area. The rule is that when you make contact with the ball, you have to have a fist, and you can only touch it with one arm or hand. Okay? You know how in volleyball you can do a dig, which is that part of your forearm that you're hitting the ball off?
Yeah.
You can do that single hand, but you have to have a clenched fist even if you're doing a little set to somebody.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty
And then
tough.
it's volleyball. It's full-scale volleyball, right?
And so the net's 40 meters long or whatever the width of a soccer pitch is? Yeah, okay. All right.
Sure. Or it might be skinnier than that. I don't know what they play on. I don't really know the dimensions of the pitch, but I don't think it matters too much.
When you say they're playing volleyball.
Yeah, they're playing volleyball, except there's a bounce allowed pretty much all the time. One bounce allowed all the time. So if I get a good save, it goes up. You can let it bounce, then hit it up. It can bounce again, and then someone has to get it over. And then on the other side, it'd be if it bounces twice or they put it out of bounds when they're trying to return it, right? It's fistball. Dan, friend of the pod, plays in the defense, which is sort of your backman.
Yeah.
They're back there. They're the agile ones. They're getting the saves. They're there for those hard ball gets.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
How'd he go?
I haven't been able to find the results, but we should. We'll send our congratulations anyway to the boys. Well done. Representing Australia.
Yeah,
that's
fistball.
huge. Yeah,
the
good on you.
European origin.
Yeah, massive.
First organised play in 1894. First
So it's a
mentioned
very young
in
sport.
year 240
AD.
AD.
Bit of a gap between their last tournament. Hard to view as well. I was trying to find some videos.
Not much.
And no, it's not that there's not much out there. It's just hard to see with the coverage. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's going on. But it was great. Watch the boys play in Geelong, I think it was, a replay.
Okay, it's 20 metres wide, the field, and 50 metres long, and the net goes across the middle.
Yeah.
So it's like 25 metres each side in depth. The most important errors, i.e. points to the opposing team, are as follows. The ball or the player touches the net or post. So no lets, I assume. If it touches I don't know. The ball touches the ground outside the court. Classic. The ball touches the ground twice in a row without any contact by a player in between.
All right, so congratulations to the New Zealand men's football fistball team for claiming the 2024 Trans-Tasman Fistball Championships trophy. Right, so Dan plays for the West Australian team, but he got the call up, to play for Australia in the Trans-Tasman Fistball Championship.
How many people play?
I don't know how many are on each team. Looks like there's 10 in each squad, and that would include Sabs.
Wow. Okay. Because
while the final result was a comprehensive 3-0 sweep of the series, each test was anything but a whitewash. Some PR there from Fistball Australia.
Is that going to become an Olympic sport, do you think?
Yeah. Yep. I think we can lock that in as a prediction for Fistball, the Olympics. Dan Olympian ? I've
always wondered what the easiest sport to get a gig would be in the Olympics. And
the Olympics.
At the moment, that's in the running. Because, I mean, if it
a
was
new
first
sport.
played, like it's nearly 2 millennia old.
Yeah, it's an old game, but not as many people play it. It's not as widely reported.
Yeah. Never heard of it. His nickname is Big Ball. Big Bow.
I really would like to see some vids, but seeing the guys, seeing Dan play fistball at the highest level, it's great to see. It is great to see, and congrats to the boys. So we're putting that in there. Fistball Olympics,
good. Yeah, okay.
And then Dan Olympian. And while we're at it, just to finish off the prediction stuff, let's get your pick for presidential election result now, right?
Oh, okay. I reckon
I'll gauge your reaction a bit closer to the date.
Yeah.
But this is an important thing to put a prediction now. Let's have it.
Oh, Trump's going to be excluded from running.
That's what your prediction is.
100%. 100%.
That's a huge call.
Yeah, and when I say 100%, I need to qualify that.
Yes?
He's either going to get disqualified or win. And
wow.
I think that they will disqualify him. I'm going to go full conspiracy on it. I'm going to say that
if he wins,
the machinery
is
going to exclude him from running.
Wow.
Somehow.
Wow. What do you mean the machinery?
What happened with...
You mean the sort of political machinery?
System? Yeah. Some when he claims
you don't mean
things are
actual machines?
Motivated. No, not the machines.
Right.
Although I am worried about the machines, but no, not on this occasion.
Yeah. Other reasons. Terminator reasons.
Well...
Okay, so you're doing Trump excluded from election or win.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Put that in there. We've done some good predictions tonight. Boots on the Moon, 2026 Fusion Power Reactor, 2034. Jon Stewart runs for presidential office, 2032. Fistball Olympics, Dan Olympian. And Trump to either win or be excluded from the ballot. It's good. It's good predict. I'll go flying cars. Ooh, 2045.
But we're not counting that sort of rotary helicopter thing, the drone. We're not counting the drone taxi. No, a flying car. What is a flying car, though? Does it have wheels?
Yeah, it's got both.
It's got
capabilities.
Both. So it's like
the wheels retract.
Chitty chitty bang
the
bang.
Wheels retract out. Just like, I want the Back to the Future DeLorean spec.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that.
Speaking of machines, that lander. Remember how that Japanese lander kind of ballsed up its landing? I don't know what it's doing.
Landed
now.
on its head.
Yeah,
you don't know what it's doing now.
Yeah, I think it's just chilling in the dark.
So what's the update?
I don't know what the update is, but
that's not an update.
No. So I'm just saying, you know how that one. So that doesn't actually count as like it's not a successful landing on the moon, is what I'm saying.
They haven't counted that?
No, apparently they're not. Let me get this.
They must be pretty unhappy with it. Be a lot of Japanese scientists at the Space Commission, very sad about this.
So the IM-1 lander is on its way to the moon.
Mm.
It's a US robot.
That's good. Is that currently going?
Yeah. And I swear they're trying to claim that it's like... Oh, okay. Here we go. It's... I think they nickname it Odyssey or something like that. Anyway, so they're saying it could become the first private spacecraft ever to ace a lunar landing, right? But you see what they did there? Ever to ace.
Fucking hell,
So
man.
they're trying to claim this first private spacecraft when the Japanese one is a private spacecraft. But because it didn't ace the landing, they're saying they're trying to claim it.
Oh. They're trying to
as being
delegitimize
first
the
ever.
landing.
Yeah, they're delegitimizing the...
Right, well. Look, I'm happy if they want to sort of make a concession that it wasn't a successful landing and then give that to someone else. But up until then, I reckon landing on your head, soft landing on the moon.
Yeah,
give yourselves a pat on the back. Well done.
IM-1 stands for Intuitive Machines.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that just give you... It kind of creeps me out a little bit. It freaks me out.
I don't like the sound of that.
I don't like the sound of we're putting intuitive machines on the moon.
Better that that's happening now. Let's name it now.
Yeah, quote, potentially history-making private moon mission.
Oh, this potentially history-making. There was a lady. She went into a coma in 2017. Just came out of it today or yesterday. Did you hear about this?
No.
So she's an American. She goes in a car accident. She went to a coma. She's just come out of it. The doctor said she probably won't wake up, and if she does, she won't be able to talk. She won't be able to walk. So you can forget about sort of hallway convos, right? But no, she woke up. And I was trying to think of all the things she's missed.
So she's not going to... So wait. So she's come out of this coma, but she's pretty useless.
She is doing way better than the doctors.
Said,
the parents said that they're celebrating little wins, like when she can sit up on her own accord and stuff like that. Yep. It's a slow thing. It's going to take a while for her, but I think the ultimate goal is walk and talk recovery again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Prospect of full recovery.
Wow. Okay.
So,
excellent. That would be
with
impressive.
all the dark shit out of the way, they've missed a whole bunch of stuff. Not just the launching and ongoing, the show. They've missed that. They've missed the entirety of the show so far.
Could you imagine if she woke up and then she goes to sleep, Trump's president, it's like a nightmare for her, and she wakes up and he's still president?
Yeah, so if you went into a coma sort of 7 years ago.
Yeah, 2017, and then he gets re-elected and you wake up in 2025
and he's still the president.
Continuing. Yeah.
Well, you would think that he's like rewrote the laws so that he can be a 3-term president or something. He's like done away with the Constitution. Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's just been necking all his political opponents, sending them
to
Arctic
jails. It is pretty
jails.
rare for a president to win a second term that's not consecutive. That is pretty rare, apparently.
Yeah, because you think you'd be pushed out once you lose. That's
absolutely.
Your chance. Yeah.
You had your shot. You didn't get it. Fuck off.
Yeah, he's coming steaming in, isn't he? He's coming in off the long run.
Third presidential run. How many people get 3 presidential runs? It's crazy.
And we get to benefit from all this content.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. It is exciting.
I've got the Rottnest Channel swim on Saturday.
Good luck, my friend. The weather cooling down a bit on Saturday. It's only 29-degree maximum.
Oh, I've been looking, but who knows what the weather's doing? No one knows.
Sharky, perhaps.
I've seen 35. I've been thinking about sharks quite a lot, but I was swimming in the ocean. I did a prep swim on Saturday morning. I put all the blubber on.
Cop any more jellyfish in the face?
No, there was none there. It was really nice. But I put the blubber on for both warmth and protection from the stingers, just to test it out before the actual day. Because if I don't... So I did a full prep. I just pretended I was doing the channel swim on Saturday morning.
How'd that go?
Yeah, it was fine. I just did a 4K swim, but it was fine. And it's put my mind at rest so I don't overthink it coming in where I'm worried about the prep, about how long it takes.
On Saturday. How long's the channel swim?
20.
So it's five of them.
Yeah. So it's probably a bit over 20.
Oh, shit.
Where was I going with this?
Sharks?
Oh, yeah. So I got to 1.5 Ks in swim. I'm there with my kayaker, and there was 4 rowers with a skipper bloke on there that was going the other way, and I could see them talking to my kayaker, and my kayaker sort of pulls in front of me and gets my attention. He goes, "Oh, they tell us that there's a 1 meter shark up here, like the direction you're swimming. Do you want to keep going?" I was like, "Well, what am I supposed to say to that? I don't know. Like, firstly, it's a meter, so it's not a man eater. But what am I supposed to? Yeah, there's like I know there's sharks around, but if someone tells you there's one just up the road, like, what am I supposed to do?"
I think you should try and take comfort in the fact that if you've been in the ocean before, you've probably been around a shark, and it didn't go for you.
Exactly.
Then. So what did you do? Did you continue on?
I did, but
you pressed on to Mordor, and did you think for a split second, yeah, this might just be a 1 meter shark, but it could be like a really fucking angry 1 meter shark.
A really angry one, yeah. I was like, 1 meter, like a
starving old boy who's always been the outcast who wants to prove itself,
just this murderous, evil, sinister shark, out to get me. No, I just swam a little bit closer into shore, and the rowers gave me some good advice. They said there's going to be much bigger and more numerous sharks in the Rottnest Channel swim, so you may as well just keep going.
Again, very comforting, even though it isn't.
But that sort of freaks me out a little bit. It just puts it in your mind, and it's actually all this training.
Do you think it's riskier to say swim around in the ocean a lot, like you've been doing, or say start smoking? I mean, one of them's definitely going to kill you, but not for ages. The other one could kill you tomorrow.
It could, but I mean, I saw so many people swimming in the ocean. Where I was, there was very few.
I mean, if there was a chance that when you light up a cigarette, a shark flies out of it and kills you, way less people would smoke. That's just facts.
Man, I heard the most chilling story on the way home on the bus, and it's a close relation. It sounds like a friend of a friend, but it's basically a cousin of an extremely good friend. And it's pretty grim, but I just have to mention it. So they basically, imagine this. So it's a married couple. I don't know what age they are. The guy gets up to go to the toilet in the night. A moment later, the female gets up to go to the toilet. They pass each other as she's going to the toilet. They collide. She falls over, hits her head, goes into a coma. Now she's dead. He bumped into her during the night, and his wife died.
That's pretty brutal.
That is unbelievable. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, that is pretty
frightening. I mean, like you only talking about, the shark jumping out of the cigarette. I reckon that seems more likely. That is the most unlikely thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. So it was when they hit the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if she hit her head on anything or what. I don't know the details of but I do know there's a, I just can't wrap my head around that one. I was saying, how closely would the cops look at the guy with a story like that?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, but someone comes to you with a story like that, it almost seems unbelievable. Obviously, you'd just be, and you would just always, it's just, I don't know, it just annoys me a little bit that can happen.
Okay.
Like the shark makes sense.
Right.
Because the shark is a killer. There's a threat. The cigarette makes sense. Going to the toilet in the night, I do it twice a night. Should I be concerned?
Yeah. Well, no, I've got some stairs in my house that I always say if I fall down these stairs, it's GG. And I'm the only one who lives here. So, like, fall down the stairs, it's gone.
You are right. Your stairs are nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you actually worry about those?
I worry about slipping over in the shower by yourself.
Hey, that watch
People
I've given
slip over in the shower.
It's got an incident detection thing. It probably hasn't been updated.
I'm not going to turn it on.
No, but you can activate it. So if you fall over,
I know. I don't want that.
I had it set up.
I'll set it up so that you're my emergency contact.
Yeah. You input 3 emails and 3 phone numbers in there, and it can activate automatically upon certain things. Like
wild.
Yeah, and it sends out the warning saying your GPS location and that you're in trouble.
It's great. I remember you telling me about that because you're in a forest somewhere. And you stacked it on your bike, or you had to stop to pump up a tire, and you thought maybe someone thought you were dead.
Yeah. I was pumping off a tire, and I think that motion of that, if weird things start happening, it starts to, I don't know how it detects you're in an accident, but there's obviously things you do that it thinks is unusual. I could have been masturbating. I could have stopped my bike and been masturbating.
That's hilarious. Your mum calls you up and go, "Hey, masturbating again?" "Yes, mum, I'm masturbating again." "Oh, well, I'll leave you to it then."
False alarm.
Yeah. Great job.
I'm going to go play some Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
And that is not a euphemism.
Yeah. But we will be back.
We'll be back. We might be better. We might not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well. Nah. Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back. Oh, we're so bad.
What do you mean?
No, we're fine.
I actually think that was pretty good.
Yeah, look, we tried. All we can do is try. You know what? We need to be like the Iron Chef guys. They always say, "How do you think you'll go? Are you going to beat the Iron Chef?" The competitor, what do you call them?
Just get our best
challenges, and they go, "I'll do my best." Always the translation doesn't matter what they're. Yeah, they could say the longest. Yeah, in Japanese, they might be talking for like a minute, and the translation would just be like, "I'll do my best."
That is something I picked up in Japan. Like when I bought some food or something at a place, they would give you your money back and then give you a whole paragraph and a half, and you're like, "What was all that? Was that just thank you?" That was a hell of a lot of words for saying thanks for coming. Anyway, rock.
Yeah, man. Channel swim. I'm actually, like I used to get. Yeah, I used to get nervous for events and things, but because I've got a lot of event experience, I can run and I can cycle and I can swim a bit. I don't really get worried about events. I'm terrified for this.
You're gonna do it, man. Like
it's starting to.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Get those feelings, and then fucking smash it out of the park. Anyway.
Yeah, no. Then this is also I'm excited for those feelings as well because I haven't had this in a long time, but it is on my mind. I have been thinking about it. Yeah, I'm shitting myself. I'll be shitting myself morning of.
Great.
Like I'll just want to get started. Like I know I can do it. The weather is gonna concern me until I'm literally there, and even if it's bad weather, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Choices.
But there is a chance that I just don't make it. But I also don't know I don't actually know what it means to not make it. Like, I don't actually know how that actually happens because I'm not really.
It's when you can't do it.
Yeah, but I'm not a giver-upper.
No.
So I don't actually know what happens.
But maybe you haven't been pushed to your limits then.
I know.
That's what we're going to.
I think that's deep down, like when I'm analysing what I'm worried about, I think it is the potential that I get taken to the limit. This is the time. Yeah, because this is not if the weather's poor, Like, for example, in 2003, I've been looking at the history of the Rottnest Channel Swim. They had the worst weather on record, and only 43% of those entered completed it. And that includes teams, and you're more likely to make it in a team because you can you
spread the load. Yeah,
it's bad, but with
when those teams don't finish it.
Well, they just said 43. The stat is 43% of those entered.
So that's only a team or a person, right?
Yeah, I think they count the people as say you've got 2,000 competitors, and 800. I think they actually get counted as people competing, even though they're in a team.
Okay. Yeah, so if the whole team fails, you'll fail.
Yes, but because I think it's more likely, I think you'll find that the stats for teams failing will be like 30%, and the stats for individuals failing will be like 55%. Like I think it'll be skewed because it's just, although the individual swimmers are better, they're more affected by
of course
support.
They've got more of a load.
Yeah.
more affected by conditions, all sorts of stuff. It's just one person.
Yeah, I'll send you. There's a tracking thing. Someone will have it on the boat, so you can.
Yeah, send it
at any time of the day. You can just see where I am bobbing out in the ocean.